And this is for my homies. And you know me for making it so sick. Lost in my six with the Lex on the wrist. If it's murder, you know she wrote it. German Ruger for your deep throated. Know you wanna fill the room cause it's platinum coated. Take your pick, got a firearm, you should've told it. All that you kick, player hating from the sideline. Get your own while you ride mine. I'm a good fella, kinda lady. Stashy ladies in Mercedes. Puffy, hold me down, baby. Only female in my crew. Then I kick like a nigga do. Pull the trigger too.
Hand skills, crystal still, hot bills in Brazil. About a mill of ice grill, make it hard to figure me. You been kicking me, then my undercover, Johnny Brasco, left my East Coast girl, the Bentley, the twirl. My West Coast shorty, push the chrome 740, rockin' red man and naughty. Oh, with my kitty cat, half a brick of yay, in the bra with a and I'm living that whole life we push weight. The state pen. Penn State, listen close, it's Francis, the praying mantis. Attack with the Mac, my left hand spit, right hand grip on the whip for the smooth getaway. Player haters, get away, or my lead will spray. Squeeze off till I'm empty, don't tempt me. Only to hell I send thee, all about the Benjis. Why?
Benjamin's baby. It's all about the 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 Benjamin's baby.
If you are tired of mainstream radio, then tune in to WWC 106.9 FM, Fairborn Dayton, Dayton's right choice, and we also live stream at WWC106.9.org.
This is Don Smith from the legendary Wiley's Comedy Club in Dayton, Ohio, and you're listening to WWSU 106.9 FM, Fairborn, Dayton's right choice.
The average time a resume spends on an HR manager's desk is 7 seconds, and most of them are tossed aside. Now imagine if one of those resumes belonged to Yasmin, who was
living in a shelter, juggling 3 jobs. I had to be resilient. That's something that you can't teach.
We rely so much on a resume, yet it could never tell the full story of someone who
had to be independent and take initiative. And that's how I handle every project I get.
Discover new ways to develop great talent at gradsoflife.org. Brought to you by Grads of Life and the Ad Council.
WWSU 106.9.
Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at WWSU 1069. Or to listen live and request your favorite songs, go to WWSU1069.org.
You are now listening to WWCU 106.9 FM, Fairborn Dayton, Dayton's right choice.
Make it nasty. Make it nasty.
Good morning, everybody. You are listening to Mic Check. My name is Jedd the Ratking Rismiller, and I am joined here today with Frank Calzada. Now, before we get started, the views and opinions of Mic Check are those of the author, and the content of this program has not been reviewed nor endorsed by WWSU 106.9 FM or Wright State University. Good morning, Frank. How you doing?
I'm good. Pretty tired.
Right.
How are you?
Pretty tired? Not too bad. I had my coffee this morning, but thank you so much for waking up early, coming into this station to join us this morning.
Yeah.
So why don't we start off? Why don't you tell us a little bit about you, about your music, how you got started, and just some things like that?
Well, I've grown up around music. I come from a very musical background. My grandfather played guitar and he wrote like lyrics. We never really pursued it seriously, but he taught my mom how to play guitar. My mom taught me how to play guitar. My sister played like trumpet and French horn, and she sings like opera and theater. My older brother's in a few bands around town. My dad was a DJ back in like the 90s for a little bit. So like music's just been all around. It's like it's all I've known, you know.
Yeah.
So I just
So what was the first instrument you learned?
I feel like it was bass. I remember being a little kid and like in the basement at our old house, and like my older brother was having a jam session and my mom was down there and I was like sitting on her lap, and I think I remember like plucking like those fat bass strings. I'm like, whoa, this is so cool. And my brother Danny, he would like trying to like get me to jam with him at one point. Like he was trying to play guitar and he was like, here, play the drums. And like like it was just like I couldn't understand because I was just a little kid, but I like still wanted to do it. And like I remember like laying down by the vents at home, like trying to listen to him and his band jam out, and like I wanted to be a part of it so bad. And like that was really like what wanted me to get into like performing with like the full band was like my older brother.
So you kind of like started out playing whatever instrument he needed that day, being like bass, drums.
Yeah.
You do this. Yeah.
But like it was like honestly like saxophone was the first real one, I think, like instrument.
Oh yeah.
I played that in school for a little bit, and bassoon. But guitar,
really?
Yeah, bassoon, yeah.
That's cool.
It was interesting. The reed is like the mouthpiece is the reed. It's like so weird.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to Northmont for the first like 10 years, and then I went to Oakwood my freshman year and graduated from there.
My school wasn't fancy enough to have like bassoon. I played trombone badly, but that's about all.
That's a fun instrument.
It is. They were going to try to get me to play oboe, but I didn't end up going for it. Nobody else in my school played oboe, so it would have just been
no
like
one played
me.
bassoon. They like, we need a bassoon. We have too many alto sax. Can you please play? I'm like, sure, why not?
That's a really interesting like kind of instrument choice, though. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I did. It was nice. Like the low notes, like.
Are they bass clef?
Yeah. I read in the bass clef.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. With that experience, like playing a bassoon and being in the bass clef, do you think that makes playing like an actual bass easier?
I don't know. I feel like all instruments are like it's like they all have their own like way of like playing a certain note. Like one note's gonna be different the way you play it compared to like how you play it on another instrument, but it still produces like the same sound. So I don't know.
So how many instruments altogether do you play?
I don't know the number off the top of my head, but
a lot.
I can play drums now. I love playing bass and guitar. I'm trying to teach myself how to play keys. But yeah, I'll play whatever I can get my hands on for real.
So, is a lot of the different instrumentals on your albums, is that all you or mostly you? Or?
Yeah, it's all me. I still do it to this day. I record most of my songs on my iPhone through GarageBand, and like GarageBand is kind of like I'm getting annoyed with it now because you can only add like 30 some tracks, and then like you can't do any more tracks. And I had a lot of layers to my music, so it's just like it's constraining, but at the same time, like I don't really need a lot for my music, like the stuff that I'm working on.
That is really cool that you do it through GarageBand, just because I was listening to it and I'm like, wow, the sound quality of this is great.
Thank you.
So I had a train of thought I was going on, but I totally lost it.
Bring it back.
I know. So how old were you when you got your start and you were listening to your brother play music?
I was like I had to have been like 6 or 5 or 7 sometime around then, but I didn't really start like wanting to like pursue music until I was like in middle school when I started teaching myself how to play guitar. But like actually like recording the music and writing the stuff, it's been about like 4 or 5 years doing it and like performing out.
Is guitar, would you say that's your favorite one to play?
Yeah, for sure.
Kind of your main instrument? Nice. So inspiration wise, like besides your family, do you have like what artists would you say like inspire you as a musician, things like that?
I got a few, man. There's Joe Baton. He's this like Puerto Rican Filipino artist from New York, like from way back in the day. He like was kind of like a catalyst into the Latin salsa psychedelic scene up there. It was super interesting. And Carlos Santana, of course,
always.
Jimi Hendrix, Gabor Szabo. Like I can name a million cats, but we'd be here all day. But those are definitely the main ones. Just like studying them and like how they approach the guitar and like the way they make it sing, you know. And then I kind of like pick each artist and like put it in a little stew and then like make it my own.
And what would you describe that like genre? When you make it your own, what would you say that is?
Psicodélico. So psychedelic is like psychedelic in Spanish, and Cico is my nickname. Francisco is my full name, but when my siblings and I were little kids, we really couldn't like pronounce Francisco all the way, so they call me Cico. It's on my knuckles. I got it tatted.
Oh, that's cool.
CICO, and so I just like to play on words.
Yeah, because I saw that. That's the title of one of your songs, also.
Yeah.
Nice. How many albums do you have out now?
I don't know off the top of my head. I got a couple.
Because I was looking through that and I was like, wow, that is pretty impressive. And most of them, if I remember, I was looking at like 2020. Like it's mostly been the past few years, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
I think there's one from like 2018 when I was still in high school, but I don't really count that one.
When did you graduate, if you don't mind me asking?
2019.
Me too.
Nice.
Okay. Well, I guess that we can go ahead and play some of these songs.
Sure, yeah.
I was going to ask something else, but I lost it, so I'm going to use a song break to try and gather myself again.
Right on, yeah.
So we'll start out with Too Tired and Campfire.
Sounds cool.
Now, before we play these, what about where did these songs come from? Like, what was your songwriting process on these?
So this was like around COVID when everyone was at home, and I took that as an opportunity to really explore my sound and what I wanted to do. So this was definitely like very early on in my start with music. I wrote that song, the first one, Too Tired, about I like drove to Chicago on a whim one day and just like spent the day there, and then came back home. I left at like 5 a.m. and then came back really late.
Was it just you?
Yeah, it was all me, just me. And then Campfire, my friend Zach Brenneman played the harmonica on that one, and that one's just kind of like a shanty of sorts, just classic little.
Love some shanties.
Yeah.
So what made you want to go to Chicago now?
I was born in Chicago. I have a lot of family up there. It's like a second home.
Nice. So you go there a lot?
I try to. I haven't been in a while, but I have to. So really soon.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and play Too Tired for you guys. So we hope you enjoy.
Oh
All right, and that one was Campfire, again, by Frank Calzada. I really like those songs a lot.
Thank you, man.
This might be a weird comparison, but it's like if you mixed, I feel like it's if you mix Santana and King Giz. I've been on a big, like, King Giz psychedelic, like, rock kick, so I'm like, oh, yeah, I am all about this.
Thank you.
So you mentioned Too Tired. You mentioned some of your, like, some of the inspiration that came from it. Do you have, like, what's your songwriting process? Do you have any, like, weird, interesting routines, rituals, things you do to help kind of get those, like, creative juices flowing?
Honestly, I just kind of like bottle it up in my brain until I know and like I'm ready to execute it in person, you know, like like I wrote a song for this upcoming EP and like I just like all of it was in my head, I heard the words, I like heard everything and like the instrumentation too, and like I don't know, man, like I feel like that's a really hard question for me to like answer.
So some of the words and the stuff that you came up for your new EP, let's talk a little bit about that. What it's called Muchas Mariposas, correct?
Muchas Mariposas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Much better pronunciation than mine. I haven't spoken Spanish since I think I was in senior year, so I'm a little rusty.
You're good, man.
So what's some of your favorite stories behind those songs? Does the album have like an overall theme?
Yeah. You know, love. Love inspired me to create this EP. Love inspires me to create everything, you know. And love comes in many different forms and shapes. And, you know, like the love I have for my family is definitely like the biggest influence on my music. Like I said, like I come from a very like musical background. Then like every time I play guitar, I'm always reminded of the history of like my family and like the love that I like it comes from, you know. And so with this EP, it's really all about like love, like continuing that, like
love, family, that sort of thing. That's really cool.
Yeah, there's a song on there about my sister called Iguana. It's like the lyrics are like Nana the Iguana, Nana the Iguana.
Is that like a nickname?
Well, I used to call her Nana growing up, so like a little.
What's her name?
My sister, her name's DJ DeJuliana.
Okay.
Her middle name's Frank, which is. She doesn't like people to know about that, but now I told the whole world. I wrote another song about her too, La Colina Lulu, from my album Cico. Maybe we could play that later.
Yeah, we can. And what does that mean?
So funny story. I don't even know where to start with this.
Okay.
It's just like a family like inside joke nickname. Like
I see.
Like Colina Lulu just means like Lulu Hill. Like I said, it's really weird to like explain about it because it's like family and then like Spanish.
You got to be in the know to know.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So is that Iguana? That's from the new upcoming EP? Is that your favorite song?
I think my favorite song is probably the title track, Muchas Mariposas. I was in the woods with these two one day, like last summer. And we were just like sitting in the middle of this very like scenic area, and I had my guitar with me. I was just noodling, and like I ended up coming up with like the main riff for that, and I was like, whoa. And then like I came home, and I just like on my iPhone did thing, and then.
And what does Muchas Mariposas mean?
Lots of butterflies.
Lots
of
butterflies.
The feeling you get in your tummy.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of butterflies.
Okay. I was wondering if it was like you actually saw like a lot of butterflies.
Well,
like,
I mean, yeah, you could interpret it.
Like playing your guitar, it's like a Disney princess moment. They're all like flopping around you. That's really cool though. We talked a little bit about your shows while we were on the break.
Yeah.
You did a lot of shows this weekend. Tell us a little bit about that.
I did. We played at the State Theater in Springfield on Friday, and that one was insane. That was probably the coolest show we've played. They have this huge like movie theater screen right behind like where the musicians are playing, and all these crazy lights and visuals. Cool. Very like old school looking theater too. Like there's like a bunch of chairs with cloth linens and these very comfy chairs, and like it was a very beautiful experience. And the people that are running that place, like like really care about music and like putting on these
absolutely.
events, and like it was nice to like make that connection and like be a part of that show, and like watching the other bands too was so cool, and like that was a really fun night. And then the next show was at Gathered by Ghostlight in Dayton. And that was a more like acoustic, like chiller setting.
Yep.
And that was really fun too. Sereno and Anna Marie were playing piano, which I'm like, that's what I'm trying to get to, is like playing like chords and singing without even have to think. Like those ladies are just like so into it and passionate. I'm like, wow, like I want to get to that level of like artistry where I just like don't even have to think about like where my hands are going. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, this weekend was crazy for sure.
Do you usually do like multiple shows every weekend, or is this kind of like a like unusual case?
We're trying to play out more for sure. You know, we're playing 2 shows in one day in a few weeks.
Oh, nice.
So we're playing at the 2nd Street Market at like 11 on March 9th, and later that day we'll be playing at Contemporary Roast in Centerville for their 1-year anniversary party. And then we have a WISO gig that Wednesday before, so we're keeping busy for sure.
Yeah. Do you have like a venue that's like your favorite place to perform at?
You know what? I might have to say South Park Tavern. I always have so much fun playing there. It's in Dayton on Wayne Avenue. They're always so nice and like always very responsive and super cool people, and they get a free pizza. The band gets a free pizza every
that's
show.
always the best.
Yeah. But no, I love every venue we've played at. We're trying to play outside of Dayton. I feel like we're getting to the point where like we've played almost everywhere. We played a lot of shows last summer, which was like really awesome for all of us. You know.
What venue in Dayton would you say you've played the most at?
You know what? I feel like we don't really double repeat venues that often. So it's all kind of like, we don't like to play out too much. You know, we kind of like, here, we'll catch us at this show, but we're not going to be back for another minute. So like once like it is that minute, like it'll be worth it to wait, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, your group right now, you are in Frank and Friends, but especially on Spotify, it's just Frank Calzada. So do you do Frank and Friends? Is that kind of like your live group that you play with? But do you prefer to do more of it like a solo kind of thing and make all the music yourself?
So yeah, it's very complicated.
Yeah.
So we do play some of like the songs that are on Spotify with the live band, but a lot of the songs that we do play with the live band is like very different from the stuff on Spotify. We haven't even recorded like any material from our live setting yet, and I think that's just like, that's on my part. Like I need to like get with these producers, you know, and like, but it's hard to find like the right person to capture the sound, you know. But for the band, when it comes to writing music, like we all kind of just like start a jam. Like we'll start with like Billy, he'll like do like a little conga groove, and then Jared will come in on some hi-hat or whatever, and then I'll be like, hey Nelson, play something in like G, and then we'll just get into it and see what we come up with, and we find something we like,
So how many people are in Frank and Friends?
4 people, including myself.
Okay.
The lineup has changed so much since I've started it, and I think it's interesting, you know, just like a revolving door of musicians and like just finding them. And I really like this lineup, though. We all kind of mesh well, and it's fun to jam out with them. They're fun.
So how would you say that your music is kind of like different between your work on Spotify and your work with Frank and Friends?
Well, my stuff on Spotify is definitely more acoustic based. And Frank and Friends, I'd call that like progressive Latin funk.
Okay.
You know, to put it in broad terms. It's been hard to describe our sound. Like I for the longest time didn't know how to tell people what it was. But
fair enough.
After a while, it's, you know, it's just progressive Latin funk. Yeah.
Now, is that kind of just like a unique like Frank and Friends things, or are there other like progressive Latin funk bands?
Oh, there's a bunch like from like back in the day. I don't know if there's any out there doing it like nowadays, but Carlos Santana, his band Santana, of course. He had a brother, George Santana, and he was in this band called Malo, which means bad in Spanish, and they were like very very funky Latin progressive, and yeah, there's I could be here all day if we name them. I don't want to.
So between your solo work and Frank and Friends, like, do you prefer to work in a group or by yourself, or is it just different?
It's different, you know. It's like I love collaborating with artists, like not just Frank and Friends. Like I could like collab with like different artists around town, and we'll just jam out. I love collabing. But it's different when it's like with like just me and like recording on my iPhone, because that's like my time to like, okay, I'm gonna sit down and do this, and like this is something that I'm creating out of nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like you probably get a lot more freedom to do kind of what you're thinking when it's by yourself. Do you find it easier kind of to, I guess, like capture the sound that you're thinking about when it's by yourself, or do people that you're working with often bring in like new directions that you didn't expect things going?
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah.
I'm definitely like when I'm by myself, it's like, yeah, I'm like I have that freedom to like, you know what I want to create and have the time to like meticulously like put it together. But when it's with like more people in like a live group setting, it is like really fun to like bounce ideas off of each other, and like I'm like, whoa, I didn't think we could do that, but like we're doing it now, you know. So it's like it's different, but it's like it's all creative, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's say if you had the ability to collaborate with any artist ever, like you even have like you can bring people back from the dead. What is like what musicians would you love to have the opportunity to work with?
Dang, that's a big question.
Yeah.
I think it'd be fun to just like hang out with these artists first before we get into the music, you know. But maybe Jimi Hendrix. I feel like
absolutely
an afternoon with Jimmy would be really fun. Man, it's a big question.
Yeah.
I can't.
No,
man.
Just Jimmy. That's a good
Just
pick,
Jimmy,
though.
man. Yeah.
Love some Jimmy. I got really into him a few years ago, and I was surprised. I listened to like the Are You Experienced album, and I was like, well, this is kind of weird.
It was
like
very
this is
weird.
weirder than I expected
He's a
it to
weirdo.
be. Oh man. So let's go ahead and listen to a few more songs.
Yeah, right on.
So the next one that we've got coming up, I've got Glued to You and Welcome. Tell us a little bit about those tracks.
For sure. Glued to You, I wrote that summer 2021. It was definitely still in the realm of like that singer-songwriter era, like COVID, like post-COVID. And that one, I don't really like when I write songs, I just like write the lyrics and I don't really think about like what they mean or like like how they are. But so it's like really interesting to look back on them like later on, like, whoa, like what was I writing about? But with Welcome, that's definitely like a stark transition into like my more like Latin influenced music. That's when I started to like bring more of like my culture into my craft.
And so how many, you mentioned like a couple eras, like do you have like a couple distinct eras of like your songwriting, musician, like time?
Yeah. I mean, you can find the eras like through my albums, honestly, you know.
So we've got your singer-songwriter era. Now you're in like your more like Latin based psychedelic era.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
All right. So this one is Glued to You.
When you see me pass the road, well,
All right, and that last one, that was Welcome.
Yes, it was.
So that was Glued to You and Welcome. You can find both of those on Spotify. Both fantastic.
Thank you.
So let's talk about a little bit about. I lost it. Let's talk about this next album. So when does that come out?
March 16th.
March 16th. Where can we find it? Spotify?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
We won't have physical copies, but digitally everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Well, you have to get me a copy of that. We'll put it on the air.
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
very excited for it. So you mentioned your favorite track was Muchas Mariposas, the title track. How many tracks are on this album?
I think only 4 or 5. It's an EP, so it's like a little shorter. I've been releasing more EPs lately. I feel like it's like easier for people to digest and consume, you know, because like with albums, people are like, oh man, like I have to listen to this whole album. But on my most recent album, Seco, a lot of the songs are only like a minute or 2 long, so it's like not that long of an album, which is like, I feel like when people say albums, they like think it's like, oh, it's like this like grand, long 2-hour venture, you know,
like rock opera kind of thing. If you listen to this, you're gonna be just stuck here for an hour and a half.
It's like,
yeah, absolutely. And so you prefer doing EPs? Do you like it better as an artist too?
Yeah, because it's like, you know, it's something small and sweet and short for people. Like, hey, I have this EP, I'll have another one soon. And then over time, you just like have this big collection of songs. And it's like, you could release an album at that point, but I just find EPs to be more, I don't know, they're cute.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's say that you are out and about, you are going about your day, and you just get like that flash of inspiration. How do you like capture that and make sure you don't lose that till you get a point to like record it?
You know, that's also a big question.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I said before, you know, when inspiration comes to me, it comes to me, and like it's like all I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I'm gonna try not to forget what I'm thinking about in terms of this inspiration. Um, I used to call them like blue moon moments whenever I like had like a really good like string of like inspiration. Like I'm like writing all these like I'm like whoa, like this is crazy. I haven't written a song like this in like a minute. Like um, the inspiration comes and goes. It's like I never like it's not something that's like abundant. Like I'm not
Yeah.
gonna like wake up one day and be like, oh my god, I'm like so inspired today. Because as an artist, it's hard to like stay motivated and like
Sure.
keep that momentum going. And like there will be days where you're like not as inspired, but we have those days, and every day is different, and it's like there's always tomorrow, and
Yeah.
then maybe tomorrow will be more inspired.
So, how as an artist do you kind of keep up that motivation? Do you have anything you do that like kind of helps you stay on top of things?
Man, I just keep doing it.
Yeah.
Like I love music. It's all I've ever wanted to do, and it's like it's my life's passion, my life's goal.
Mm-hmm.
And like I could be like 40 in like some dad jam band that like practices once a month in someone's garage. Like if I'm like still able to play music, I'm fine with that. It would be incredible if like I became like some big huge famous star, but
Mm-hmm.
like it's also like it's about music. It's not about like becoming like this well-known guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like so grateful I'm able to like share my art with people, and that like I'm being vulnerable in that fact. Like I'm
Yeah.
like putting myself out there, and it's like and that's like I really appreciate when people tell me how much they love it, and like they come up to me after, so like, oh my god, you're like so good. I'm like it really it does mean a lot, and like I feel like I don't know. And that's what inspires me to keep going, is like knowing that people like what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And like, oh snap, I gotta keep this up so people like, I gotta play the music and just have fun with it.
See, this is something as like an audience member. I always felt awkward like trying to come up to an artist after a show.
No, come
Be
up to
like,
them. It'll make their night.
Hi, that was pretty cool, man. I always feel awkward about it. I never ever know what to say. Like, hey, you play guitar pretty good.
No,
Like,
sometimes like I don't even know what to say back. Like I feel like it's hard for me to take compliments sometimes.
Yeah.
Like people come up to me like, "Oh my god, you did incredible." I'm like, thank you." Like I'm an
Yeah.
awkward person already, so.
Do you get nervous going on stage and things like that?
Oh yeah, I always get those pre-show jitters and those butterflies in my tummy, but like once we're up there, it's like, man, we're already here. We know what we're doing. Like let's just have fun at this point. And
Just
if,
kind of
like,
know yourself, trust yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What it's all
Do you
about.
have anything you like do to kind of like help yourself like calm down, get in the zone, and prepare for a show?
Just like thinking to myself, like you're gonna do good. Like like these people came here for a reason. They know, like they don't know what to expect yet, because like I said, like a lot of our music isn't released.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm like psyching people out with my music. I feel like it's like all of the stuff that's on Spotify and Apple Music is like acoustic, and then they come to my shows and then they're like, whoa, that's not what I heard. Or let's say they like come to my show, they've never heard my stuff on Spotify before, and then they go home, listen to the music, like this isn't what I heard earlier. So I feel like I definitely need to like record all that like Frank and Friends material before like people get angry, and I'm like, we want like
Start like a riot,
Right.
get the torches and pitchforks. And so is there like, so you mentioned earlier like looking for a producer. Is that the main thing, just like keeping you from like recording that yet?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like we're ready to record. We're tight with our sound, and we know like we play off each other well. It's just I'm talking to a few people right now. I just need to get the ball rolling.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes that's the hardest part. And how long did you say that you've been with the current like group with Frank and Friends now?
So Frank and Friends started back in October of 2022. My friend Fia and Jennifer, they have this art festival called Art Parked, and they have Fia's parents own this parking lot right next to the Dayton Masonic Temple.
Oh, yeah.
And so every year since 2022, they've put on like this music and arts festival with like a very like beautifully curated lineup of musical artists and like food vendors and like art vendors selling their stuff. Very community based.
Yeah.
It's very similar to Catch a Vibe, which is why I agreed to do that show. And so So the Frank and Friends started in 2022 when at the very first Art Park event, and then the lineup has changed since then. The current lineup that I've been playing with has been around since December of last year, so just like only a few months, but we're jamming.
Yeah. And the Dayton Masonic Temple is the one right by the Dayton Art Institute.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a nice little spot.
It is. It's so nice. Like I remember the first year, this band Crabs Without Legs. They're from Dayton. I love those guys. That was my first time seeing them perform, and like the sun was hitting the sky so perfectly, and you can see like the Dayton skyline right behind it, and like I was just like, whoa. That's crazy, man. Yeah.
So let's use this segue to talk about Catch a Vibe. So you mentioned wanting to get involved with that. What specifically was like, yes moment? I've got to be a part of this.
Well, just knowing Garen, I remember we had lunch together a few years ago, and because we met at the Brightside show for this event, there was like a few artists. Snarls was there, Kenny Hoopla was there. And I remember I was like sitting outside, and he came out. We talked for a bit. I told him I was an artist. This was before Frank and Friends. This was before like a lot of stuff. So like I kind of met him like before all that happened. And then we had lunch, and was just talking about my music and stuff. And we wanted to like connect more and like collab. And then he had some like health issues that he had to deal with, and so I was finding my own path after that. And then he reached back out to me a few weeks ago saying like, yo, we got this event coming up. I'd love for you to be a part of it. I'm like, yeah, of course. Like, because we had been wanting to do it for a while. And so it was nice to finally like get back on track with that connect. And like the lineup is pretty cool too. My friend Melina Marie's gonna be there too.
Yeah.
I've never been to the Springfield Masonic Temple either. So that's where the event's gonna be at. What time is it at, Garen?
Doors open at 7:30. Show starts at 8.
Doors open at 7:30. Music's at 8.
April 26th.
April 26th.
Last Friday.
Last Friday of April?
Last Friday of April.
The last Friday of April. The ticket sales are up right now on the website. So you guys can go ahead and buy your tickets there, and you absolutely should. Go right now. Right now. You have to do it right now.
Yep.
So what is, I guess, what other aspect are you most excited about with Catch a Vibe?
I'm excited to meet new people, new artists, and just experience the creativity in a different city, you know, because I've been doing a lot of stuff in Dayton, and like one of my main goals is like to branch outside of Dayton, which I did at the State Theater this past weekend. And so I'm really excited to like meet like a new community of artists and like bring that Dayton community to Springfield and like meet more people. Just meet more artists.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll go ahead and we'll play a couple more of your songs right now. So we've got 3 lined up for you. So we've got Voodoo, Preguntamente, and Samba de Zabo. All right, so here is Voodoo. Before we play that, is there anything you'd like to say about these pieces, what they mean to you, where you got the inspiration from?
Sure, man, yeah. So these next 3 are definitely like heavy Latin inspired, like as we were listening to the songs today, like the progression of like that singer-songwriter acoustic and then like that campfire song leaning more into the Latin based. So these songs, the first one I recorded a long time ago, and then I didn't touch it for a while. And then after that first Art Park event back in 2022, I was in a bad place before that. Like I was not like I was very unmotivated and uninspired. And then I met Fia and Jennifer at a Century Bar one night. And they're like, yo, we're doing this event. Like, we'd love for you to be a part of it. And then that really got me back into the swing of performing. And then so I wrote that. I came back to that song and finished it after that, you know, getting the inspiration back. So that song means a lot to me. And then Preguntame after that. That one I wrote this past summer too. That one's just kind of like a fun little jam. And then the last one is an instrumental dedicated to one of my guitar heroes, Gabor Szabo.
All right, so we'll go ahead and play some of those for you. This first one coming up is Voodoo. All right. So that last one was Samba de Zabo.
Ew, yes,
Please
sir.
forgive my terrible pronunciation.
That was perfect, man.
Oh, yeah, go me.
Yeah.
Miss Pearson will be so proud. That was my high school Spanish teacher. I saw her out here one day. Shout out Miss Pearson. My Spanish name was Jesus back in the day.
Hey.
My mom yelled at me. She was like, "That's sacrilegious." And I'm like, "It's funny." So we've got about 5 minutes left. So let's go ahead and take this time to plug some things. So we'll start out with Catch a Vibe, Arts and Live Music. You can get your tickets right now. They are for sale on Eventbrite. They are only $10. You get to go in there, see some fantastic live music, check out some beautiful art made by local artists, and there's going to be like 4 food trucks there. Get yourself some incredible tasting food.
Oh, yeah.
You can go buy that right now. And the date was April 26th, last Friday of April. Doors open at 7, music starts at 8. Get your tickets right now. Now, Frank, where can people find you online, on Spotify, things like that?
The best way to get in contact with me is through Instagram at Frank Calzada. That's FrankCalzada. And you can find that name on Spotify, Apple Music as well. If you want to find some of the live band Frank and Friends material, you can look on YouTube and just look up Frank and Friends, and you should be able to find it. Yeah, man.
Yeah, and all your music's on Spotify, Apple Music. I don't know what other.
Yeah, no, there's like Tidal or something. If you use Tidal, Pandora.
Yeah,
yeah, Bandcamp for sure.
We use Bandcamp sometime. SoundCloud, you a SoundCloud guy?
It's been a minute.
Yeah. I used to rap on SoundCloud.
Dude,
not
same.
actually.
Yeah.
Not
no,
actually.
Me too. It was very jokingly bad.
Yeah.
Like
I had my roommate just did a SoundCloud rap that was like the nutrition facts off a back of a green bean.
Oh wow.
Like thing. It was terrible.
That sounds really awesome. Funny. I would listen to that.
All right. Well, guys, that is all of the time that we have today. Thank you so much for everybody who tuned in. Frank, thank you once again for coming on. I had a great time. Love listening to your music, and I cannot wait to see you at Catch a Vibe this April. And any other live shows that you've got coming up that you wanted to plug as well?
Yeah, for sure. We got Kaleidoscope Radio at WYSO on the 6th of March. We're going to be playing at like 8 p.m., so tune in then. Then we're playing 2nd Street Market on the 9th and Contemporary on the 9th. I forget what time Contemporary was, but follow me on Instagram and I'll probably announce it on there. And then Catch a Vibe, like I said, on the 26th. We got some more stuff coming in like May and June, but I'm not going to announce it right now. But thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. This was Mike Check. We had Frank Calzada again. Follow him on Instagram. Check out the Catch a Vibe Arts and Live Music event on Eventbrite. Get your tickets today. Thank you so much for listening. You guys have a great rest of your day.
Woo.